Phil Collins's return to the cultural spotlight is a reminder of just how influential he's been.
Phil Collins now has gone from being one of the most reviled musicians, songwriters, to actually being the pillar of, like modern culture or whatever it is they say.
No, you'll just have to wait. Two hearts living in just one mind. Take a look at me now. Well, there's just an empty space. I can't dance, I can't sing, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise.
Not only as a chart-topping pop icon, but as a drummer with a lifelong passion for the craft. Today, a younger generation is rediscovering him, stumbling upon his career as though it were a lost treasure, unburdened by the commercialism and pop gloss that marked his peak. Stripped back, Collins's core remains the same, a drummer with deep reverence for those who broke boundaries and turned drumming into a form of high art. Collins might have been thrust to center stage as Genesis's frontman after Peter Gabriel left in the mid-1970s, but make no mistake, he's always considered himself a drummer first and a singer second. His voice became a household sound in the 80s, but he has admitted repeatedly that the spotlight has never felt as natural as sitting behind the drum kit. His respect for the drummers who came before him reveals much about the kind of musician Collins has always aspired to be, a combination of soul, technique, and artistry that can be felt in every beat he plays. The first drummer Collins credits with shaping his approach is none other than the Beatles' Ringo Starr. For many musicians, the Beatles were a gateway to creativity and innovation, and Collins was no exception. Yet where others saw John Lennon's lyrics or Paul McCartney's melodies as the driving forces, Collins zeroed in on Starr's unique way of approaching rhythm. Ringo, often pegged as the least talented Beatle, was anything but, in Collins's eyes. He was the unsung hero behind countless iconic songs, quietly anchoring the Beatles' sound with an unshowy yet inventive style. Collins points to songs like Tomorrow Never Knows, where Ringo's drumming conjures a hypnotic effect, or A Day in the Life, where the complex fills paint a vivid, almost cinematic landscape. Collins saw something few others did, that Ringo's drumming brought a level of sophistication and subtlety to pop music that still resonates decades later. Ringo's influence on Collins can be traced back to his early years, banging out rhythms on household items before he ever laid hands on a real drum kit. That sense of wonder he felt hearing Ringo play, realizing the drums could be as integral to a song as any guitar riff, stayed with him, coloring his work both in Genesis and as a solo artist. Collins doesn't just admire Ringo for his skill though, he respects him for opening up new territory in rock music. Ringo made the backbeat cool, something to listen for rather than something to ignore. And for Collins, who has spent decades championing the rhythm section, that shift was revelatory.
Ringo, a fantastic drummer, and he came in for a lot of stick, there was a period when, in the 70s I think, probably, when people like Buddy Rich were saying Ringo couldn't play, and everyone was sort of thinking it was very simple, but it just wasn't. If you listen to the drum fills on Strawberry Fields Forever, or A Day in the Life, or Rain is another example. I mean, it's just staggering what he did, I mean, he didn't ever do anything that you would normally do. It's not the kind of thing that a drummer naturally sits down to play like that. And he would just play these very complicated, tricky fills naturally. And so, I've got a lot of respect for him as a drummer.
In stark contrast to Ringo's understated style stands The Who's Keith Moon, a tornado of reckless energy and unrestrained creativity. Moon was famous for his chaotic, self-destructive antics, legendary hotel room destruction, explosives in toilets, and setting his drum kit ablaze on stage. Yet for Collins, the true genius of Moon lies not in his off-stage antics, but in his unconventional, boundary-pushing approach to drumming. Collins has spoken fondly of seeing Moon perform Won't Get Fooled Again live, with his headphones taped to his head as he tore into the drums with abandon. Watching Moon play was like watching lightning strike, completely unpredictable and utterly mesmerizing. Moon's style could be called erratic, even anarchic, but Collins sees a method to the madness. There's a sort of wild intelligence in Moon's drumming, a refusal to play by the rules that Collins has always found exhilarating. Where other drummers build patterns, Moon smashed them. His fills didn't so much punctuate a song as reimagine it, transforming even the simplest rhythms into frenetic, pulsing lifeblood. This wasn't precision drumming, it was pure, primal instinct. For Collins, who has always been drawn to the idea of drumming as a visceral, emotional experience, Moon's influence was nothing short of liberating. Then there's John Bonham, Led Zeppelin's thunderous powerhouse, the archetype of rock drumming itself. Bonham's drumming style was a physical force, a relentless machine of sound that few have dared try to replicate. Collins remembers seeing Bonham with an intensity that was almost primal, as though the drums themselves were an extension of Bonham's being. Known for his iron-footed bass drum, Bonham brought a new level of power to rock music, turning the kit into a weapon as much as an instrument. Collins admired Bonham's rhythmic ferocity, but also his finesse. Bonham wasn't just loud, he was impossibly precise, his fills so sharp they could cut through even the densest walls of sound Zeppelin created. Bonham's influence on Collins is clear, especially in Genesis's early records, where Collins's drumming channels that same muscular drive. Bonham had taught him that drumming was about more than merely keeping time. It was about shaping it, bending it to serve the music. Collins has spoken about watching Bonham and realizing that the bass drum could be a central voice in a song, something he incorporated into his own playing with a determined vigor. That booming, full-bodied sound became a hallmark of Collins's style, a tribute to Bonham's legacy as a master of rock percussion.
That's the house where they recorded When the Levee Breaks and that. I don't know what album that was on, but you know, that was recorded in the hallway at Headley Grange, and for that it's become famous in drum circles.
Where Bonham and Moon embodied rock's raw energy, Buddy Rich represented its refined, jazz-inspired technique. Collins, who grew up with an ear for big band jazz as much as rock, saw Rich as a kind of high priest of percussion. Rich's technical skills were so advanced they bordered on supernatural. A self-taught prodigy, Rich started drumming before he could walk and went on to redefine what it meant to be a drummer.
I said, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can play with the big band. I don't want to embarrass them or me. Finally, when I was in '96, I did take my big band out for the first time. People said, why? And I started to tell them why. That Buddy and Count Basie and people like this were big influences on me in the '60s when I was really opening my mind to every form of music.
Collins first encountered Rich's work through his West Side Story medley, a jaw-dropping exhibition of technical mastery that left Collins in awe. Rich could play at breakneck speed without sacrificing clarity, every beat precise, every roll smooth. Collins has referred to Rich as the greatest drummer of all time, a title he does not bestow lightly. For Collins, Rich represents the height of discipline and passion, a combination of artistry and work ethic that few drummers could hope to match. Rich's influence on Collins is evident in the intricacies of his drumming, particularly during his big band era in the late 90s. Collins's admiration of Rich was so profound that he sought to bring that same level of finesse to rock, a feat not easily accomplished. Rich taught him that even the fastest, most complex rhythms could, and should, feel effortless. Yet not all of Collins's heroes were virtuosos or rock gods. The Rolling Stones' Charlie Watts, the quiet anchor of the Stones' unruly machine, holds a place of quiet reverence in Collins's list of favorites. Watts's approach was the antithesis of excess. His style was marked by restraint, precision, and an almost zen-like calm that steadied the Stones' raucous sound. Collins and Watts struck up a friendship in later years, and Collins admired the way Watts brought subtlety to rock music, a trait that is rare in a genre built on bombast. Watts's drumming isn't about the spotlight, it's about supporting the song, letting the music breathe. Collins saw Watts's style as a lesson in humility, a reminder that sometimes the best thing a drummer can do is step back. Then there's the story of Nick Collins, Phil's son, who took over drumming duties as Collins's own health deteriorated. Nick, though barely in his 20s, rose to the challenge with surprising maturity. Watching his son take the stage, Collins has often said, was a bittersweet experience. It marked the end of one era and the beginning of another. For Phil, Nick's ability to capture the essence of his father's drumming was both a comfort and a source of immense pride. Nick brought a fresh energy to the songs Collins had played for decades, proving that the love for drumming, and perhaps a little bit of that legendary Collins sound, was in his blood. Collins's admiration for Chester Thompson, the drummer he entrusted with the Genesis drum kit when he took on lead vocals, is also noteworthy.
Well,
How did you relate to Chester? Tell us about that. In him coming on and playing on your songs live.
He came over, and the first day we met him was the first day of rehearsals. I mean, I often think about what would have happened if we didn't like him, or what he didn't like us.
Thompson's jazz background and his experience with Frank Zappa's complex, off-kilter compositions made him a natural fit for Genesis's progressive rock sound. Collins recalls the immediate connection they had, an almost telepathic bond that allowed Thompson to slip into Genesis as though he'd always been there. Thompson's drumming became a foundational part of the band's live shows, allowing Collins to step out from behind the kit without losing the intricate rhythms that were so crucial to Genesis's sound. Finally, we come to Steve Gadd, a master of jazz rock fusion and a session legend who brought sophistication to every beat he played. Gadd's career is a testament to adaptability and versatility, qualities Collins holds in the highest regard. Collins has often praised Gadd's drumming on Steely Dan's Age Up, marveling at the complexity of the fills and the effortless swing he brought to the track. Gadd's style taught Collins the importance of groove, of making the drums feel alive. In Genesis's more experimental moments, you can hear hints of Gadd's influence, a subtle nod to the session giant who proved that drums could be both intricate and accessible. For Collins, these drummers aren't just musicians, they're storytellers, visionaries, each bringing something irreplaceable to the world of rhythm. They taught him that drumming was more than a skill. It was an art form, a language all its own. Collins's own style is a blend of these influences, a unique fusion of rock's power, jazz's complexity, and a relentless drive for innovation. And though he's achieved fame beyond what most drummers could imagine, he remains at his core a drummer with a deep love and respect for the craft, forever grateful to the legends who laid down the beat before him.